Schools are hubs of learning, yes, but they're also hubs for nutrition, for safety, and healthcare. And any decision that results in less access to these services must be considered very carefully.
There are not enough resources or enough discussion at this point in time about how schools can and should support students from all of these different perspectives.
It doesn't matter the composition of the people, is that it's the history of oppression in our country that really has painted, a mindset for our country and people and what we think of different sectors of people.
What would be required from the federal government to actually bridge this divide completely? You mentioned the E-rate program, some other programs that have been proposed, but what programs and what amount of resources are we actually talking about?
In many cases, we've seen investments of hundreds of millions of dollars into helping these students become connected to the internet. Unfortunately, it's not enough. We also have 9 million students lacking access to devices.
We're asking a lot of parents and teachers to bring their kids and put trust in the school system. And in order to build that trust, there's got to be engagement in their input about what should be done, how it should be done, so they feel part of the process and they feel there's a transparency to that process.
I think in order to ensure equity for all students, we must first check those policies that have created uneven racialized outcomes.
The best advice I can give the parent is to be as loud and as clear as they possibly can be in letting the district know what their needs are.
I would also suggest that parents who feel like they're getting great service and great access for their children also speak up and tell their school board members and tell their communities. Schools need to hear when they're doing things right.
I believe it's time for our faculty and our staff to become more engaged with our community schools, and universities are a part of the community. We are often anchored in our communities and should be an active voice in these conversations.
And one of the silver linings that I've heard many educators talk about is they've had more contact and more integration with the caregivers of the children than they've ever had before, because it happens to be necessary. But that's not something we have to leave behind.
And I worry because we know how the close relationship between health and education, and students who have poor health will suffer academically.
The intersection of the pandemic, the politics of our nation, and the violent products of systemic racism that we're seeing playing out in front of us live, unfortunately, in some cases. If this doesn't cause us to rethink a lot of the things we're doing in our most important institutions and schools being front and center, I don't know what will.